Welcome to CBS Easy.
So how can a completely botched marriage proposal teach us something profound about human conflict? Today, we're diving into a story called The Proposal to really get to the bottom of why we argue, how anger just takes over, and most importantly, what on earth we can actually do about it. Let's get into it. I mean, just look at these faces. You can feel the anger, the frustration, the sheer disbelief. It's pretty wild how much we can say without speaking a single word, right? These expressions tell an entire story. And you can bet that story is all about conflict. You know you have. We've all been there. You know those arguments that start over something so tiny, and then somehow they just spiral into this massive fight about, well, about nothing and everything all at once? That is exactly the kind of mess we're exploring today. All right, so for our main case study, we're looking at a classic play that just perfectly captures this kind of pointless fighting. The play is called The Proposal, and it's what you'd call a farce, basically an over-the-top comedy. And this one is about three people who are, for lack of a better word, professional arguers. They are just incredibly quarrelsome, which makes them the perfect subjects for watching a conflict catch fire. And here's where it gets just completely absurd. The main character shows up to propose marriage. I mean, this is a huge, life-changing event, but what do they end up screaming about? A tiny patch of land and whose dog is better. Seriously, the entire reason he's there, totally forgotten. This really begs the question, right? Why does this happen? Let's actually pull apart the mechanics of their ridiculous arguments. So what makes it all spiral out of control? Well, it's not just one thing. It's this toxic cocktail of pride over property, zero patience, and a total communication breakdown. They literally stop listening and are just waiting for their turn to jump in and contradict the other person. Sound it all familiar? Okay, so seeing how easily things can just go off the rails, you have to ask, what's the solution? If these characters are the problem, what's the fix? Let's take a look at how to manage that core emotion driving everything, anger. You know, first, it helps to redefine what we're even talking about. Anger isn't just about yelling. It's the absence of peace inside us. Thinking of it that way totally reframes the problem. It's not some outside force attacking you. It's an internal state that you can actually learn to manage. And here are the practical steps. And look, these aren't some complex psychological tricks. They are simple, physical things you can do to hit pause on that emotional spiral. Taking deep breaths, counting, drinking water, just moving your body, it's all about creating a little bit of space between the feeling and your reaction. But what if this anger we feel in these small quarrels is actually a piece of a much bigger picture? Now we're going to zoom out from our personal fights to the very nature of violence itself, and we'll use a philosopher's work to guide us. The philosopher J. Krishnamurti gives us this much wider lens. He basically argues that the petty arguments we see in The Proposal, that's just the tip of the iceberg. What's hiding under the surface is way deeper, and honestly, a lot more dangerous. Krishnamurti makes this really crucial distinction. There's the outward physical violence we all recognize, right? Killing, hurting, saying awful things. But then there's the inward violence, the dislike, the hate, the constant criticism. And he says that's where it all starts. And this quote, man, it really hits home. The conflict isn't just with other people. It's the battle that's always going on inside our own heads. And that internal state of conflict is what eventually spills out into the world. And where does that lead? To the ultimate forms of violence. We're talking war, killing for ideas, killing for religious principles, or, and this brings us right back to our play, killing to preserve a little piece of land. It's the exact same petty pride from The Proposal, just scaled up to a terrifying global level. So when you're faced with this massive picture of violence, from petty arguments all the way up to war, you have to ask, what is our role? What can any of us actually do about it? And this isn't just a philosophical game. To make it real, we can look at another story, this one about a character named Vanka who is beaten and abused. He is the real-world consequence of this whole cycle. The inward violence of some people becomes the outward violence that creates real victims and unbelievable suffering. This all leads to the most fundamental lesson here. We can't always control the world around us, the people, the situations, what they say or do. The single, solitary thing that is always in our power is our response. That's it. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. The next time a conflict starts, whether it's over something huge or something as completely ridiculous as whose dog is better. Just remember the one and only thing that is truly 100% in your hands.
Thank you for watching with us. See you next time.